I want to talk about something that's very confusing, but I want to try and make it real simple. It's just like how, like, I'm trying to take the intellectualism out of philosophy. Like, philosophy is literally just referring to life, so meaning anyone's life. Like, I hate it when it's always referring to maybe, like, I mean, it's good that there's, to take it seriously, but I'm not kidding when I say philosophy is literally just referring to anyone. It can refer to anyone. And I actually find, more specifically, the mindsets. There are certain mindsets that people have. I guess maybe it doesn't get written down, but like I really like the philosophies. People have a lot of secret philosophies, specifically alternative people. A lot of time have secret philosophies. There's a chaoticness. I'm picturing the '90s and how like people even were like chaotically trying to be like, I'm trying to actually make myself go to hell. Like literally, because a lot of it was, I guess, maybe them telling jokes, because a lot of them understood that hell wasn't that way. So, for instance, understanding that red and black didn't mean that, it was a misinterpretation. But some, though, didn't give a shit. They were like, no, I actually am trying to go to hell. I find this very, just, like, interesting. I don't think, oh, they're just Satanists. I mean, maybe sometimes it is just a Satanist, but I'm not kidding when I say not with the alternative scene, you don't get it. They were, like, almost living by telling jokes. This is, like, a whole philosophy. And I actually find these philosophies really interesting. Like, even like the living day by day stuff. Do you know how many alternative people live that way? It's so much more interesting when people talk about these things. I don't know. I find the philosophy. People don't always say philosophy, but when those kinds of people actually start talking about how they feel about life, it's so interesting. I'm not trying to romanticize anything, by the way, but I'm just saying they seem to get it. I don't know. They seem to understand it a lot more. Some of them, though, have this problem where they don't take themselves as seriously. They'll be all humble and be like, oh, that's just what I do. But I'm like, no, you don't get it. This stuff is really interesting. It doesn't matter whether you're being all humble. Anyway, being a bit vague right now. I'm going to try and word this better. I'm definitely being vague. But this is actually a thought I have with things that considered, like... Yeah, there's so much philosophy and different ways of living. But people only talk about, like, certain philosophies, and I'm like, no, it's the ones that don't get written, like the philosophies that don't get written down, or the philosophies that are just less popular, that do get written down. Anyway, there's so much philosophy in people who, maybe people who are less better off, because they literally have to live by philosophy, because they literally don't have anything else. That's like pure philosophy. But it won't be considered that. People kind of like won't take it seriously. And I'm like, I get it, because I randomly said before, I want to mention this. There are some philosophies that people seem to deem as very positive. I'm like, are you sure that's positive? Like, what's one that gets taken way too seriously? It's like, the whole, living each day like it's your last. I'm like, you do realize that's like a suicidal kind of mindset? Like, suicidal people live that way. I mean, maybe, even that though, suicidal people have weird mindsets. I mean, some lean into being pretentious, but don't you find that interesting? That someone who is not taking themselves seriously, they're suicidal, now has a mindset that's pretentious. I'm like, that actually showcase, like, being pretentious literally showcases the pointlessness of, like, someone, being like, oh, I want to die. And I'm like, you can start calling it childish. Like, suicide, you can start calling it childish, because you're like, look at the mindsets. Like, when a suicidal person talks, they actually sound kind of clueless, like as if they're missing something. Don't you find that interesting? It means they're kind of like wrong and incorrect. Like, it literally means, not in some sort of positive way, but just in some, like, you almost can start laughing at someone who's, suicidal, because you're like, that literally makes no sense. Do you get what I mean? But you won't see this. You won't see this if, yeah, they literally will say stuff and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. Isn't that a good thing that it doesn't make sense? Like, I don't know. I guess, that's a confusing way to be positive, I guess, is to laugh at someone. But I'm like, yeah, but that kind of is a healthy way to kind of just go, that makes no sense. And it's a good thing that it doesn't make any sense. And it's a good thing that people are kind of laughing, because that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they will have philosophies that literally sound like nothing. They'll be like, oh, I'm just doing things for myself, and it's like, do you actually mean that, or are you just being selfish? Do you get what I mean? So, you can literally see things in suicidal people, anyway, that they would never, that they wouldn't say, other than maybe the one that says, oh, I'm pointless. I'm like, well, you know what, that one's honest. Again, I'm getting a little mean here, but like, do you get what I mean? There is a philosophy going on there. Not taking it seriously is a philosophy, I guess. Anyway, this video is very vague. Oh my god, I'm so passionate about this subject. Like, the philosophies that people don't talk about. I'm like, they either showcase things that are more interesting, or they showcase a childishness that people won't admit to, like an immaturity. Okay, like, here's another really weird one. Like, do you know how many people who, like poor people, I want to say poor people, again, I don't know how to word this without it sounding offensive, but do you know how many, like, people who, like, just kind of struggle with money are, like, full-blown hedonists? Do you know how funny that is? Because hedonist is, like, related to, like, rich people taking riches for granted and just, like, spending money carelessly. Whereas, like, we've got poor people spending money carelessly. That is, like, so interesting. That's, like, something that would only be created through the modern world. You wouldn't get that. It's just, like, and I mean that, like, I find modern world philosophy so interesting. People, of course, don't always take the modern world seriously, and I'm like, I kind of get it. But I'm not kidding when I say, no, realize the modern world, it just showcases a different side of living. We're more so living inside our minds more. So, like, for instance, at least the lipstick effect talks about this. But, like, also just, like, there's, like, a simplicity that you get in the modern world.